Say hello to the big, beautiful world. It is Kyle Pepitone here with the Monday edition of the Summer Morning Buzz. We are starting the summer edition of the Morning Buzz, like I just said, and I am joined here today with my co host, Patrina Geiger, in the studio. And on Zoom, we have Crystal and Campbell with our news and sportscasters, respectively. Crystal, do you want to take us away today with the newscast?
Of course, Kyle. Good morning, everyone. At least 149 people were arrested in Southern California's Huntington Beach over the weekend after a birthday party invitation went viral on social media and drew unruly crowds, police said. The party was being shared with the hashtag Adrian's Kickback, has been viewed more than 265 million times on TikTok, reported ABC News. A cable car taking visitors to a mountaintop view of some of northern Italy's most picturesque lakes plummeted to the ground, killing at least 14 people. According to ABC News, there was only one survivor, a young child, who was hospitalized in serious conditions with broken bones. The 2021 Billboard Music Awards took place last night, and many artists got to take plenty of awards home. Drake won two awards for Artist of the Decade and Top Streaming Songs Artist. Bad Bunny won Top Latin Artist, with Megan Thee Stallion winning Top Female Rap Artist. And of course, there were many, many more winners. It is now time for your morning weather update. It is currently 61 degrees in Montclair, and we are looking at a high of 66 degrees. Tomorrow, we are looking at a cloudy day with a high of 75 degrees and a low of 52 degrees.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Crystal. And additionally, we have Campbell Donovan with the Sportscast. Campbell, what is going on in the worlds of sports today?
Oh, thank you, Kyle. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the first 2-minute warning of the summer morning buzz. In the NHL, two teams have already secured spots in the next round. That's right, the Boston Bruins, with help of David Pastrnak and the captain Patrice Bergeron, took down the Washington Capitals 3-1 last night in Game 5 and take that series 4-1. Meanwhile, the Colorado Avalanche took care of business, sweeping the St. Louis Blues with a 5-2 victory. Tonight, the Tampa Bay Lightning look to take the Battle of Florida against the Florida Panthers, while the New York Islanders try to take a 3-2 series lead against the Pittsburgh Penguins and take Game 6 back to Nassau Coliseum. In the Great One North, the Winnipeg Jets look to sweep the Edmonton Oilers after coming back from a 4-1 deficit and winning in overtime last night. The NBA playoffs, Trae Young added some choice words to the MSG crowd last night after his 32-point performance as the Atlanta Hawks beat the Knicks 107-105 to take a 1-0 series lead. Alec Burks would finish with 27 for the Knicks. The Sixers, Grizzlies, and Suns all secured Game 1 victories. The Miami Heat will take on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, and the later game sees the Portland Trailblazers against the Denver Nuggets. The Mets look to bounce back after a loss from the Miami Marlins with a series tilt against the Colorado Rockies. And for the Yankees, well, the Bronx Bombers have an off day today after sweeping the Chicago White Sox and face the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow at Yankee Stadium. And they do say age is just a number, but at 50 years old, Phil Mickelson is back again, winning his PGA Championship yesterday. Congratulations to him. And that's all for the 2-minute warning. Back to you in the studio.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Patrina, we haven't heard from you today. Are you ready to begin the morning buzz for the first one of the summer 2021 semester?
Yeah, Kyle, I'm really excited to be here. This is like one of my first times in the studio, It's really exciting, especially to be a part of the summer buzz with you. It's very fun.
Yeah, it's been a while since any of us have been in the studio. For those of you who don't know, this is like my second time in the studio since I took the radio test back in November. So yeah, it should be interesting now. But we have some stories coming up. Number one, COVID testing values shrink as the vaccines are becoming more and more prominent against the virus. So recently we've seen different mandates coming out from the CDC and state governments themselves about new mask rules, especially for those who have been fully vaccinated. But in addition to that, they say fully vaccinated people can start skipping out on COVID testing, which was a large part of 2020 itself, all you really heard about was you should get a COVID test to make sure you're clear. And that was like our main defense against the virus. But as these vaccines are, the vaccine numbers are growing more and more, CDC and federal health officials are saying, you really don't need these anymore. And pretty much for fully vaccinated people, a positive test would only be, like a false alarm, they said, like it would only cause headaches. The CDC says when it comes to the US, nearly 50% of the population has gotten at least one shot, and 40% of the population are fully vaccinated. While still susceptible to COVID, those who receive the vaccination fully are at a very low risk of becoming seriously ill, like those who hadn't gotten the vaccine would have been. And a positive test, like I said, are, quote from the AP article, unnecessary worry and interruptions at work, home, school, such as quarantines and shutdowns, end quote. However, in an attempt to waive testing, the same problems, in the attempt to waive testing, officials are running into the same problems as the new mask mandates, in which they really can't tell who is and who isn't vaccinated, because a thing with medical history is it's not great to ask somebody what their medical history is, so people can't really go around in good conscience and saying, oh, did you get your vaccine? Can I see your vaccine card? Stuff like that is not exactly something we venerate in a society, but that leaves it open for people to lie about it, saying, oh, yeah, I got it, and you can't prove otherwise. So in the face of these new mask protocols and these new testing protocols, the issue where federal officials are running into is pretty much honesty. But on the bright side, from the New York Times, they said the US is averaging less than 330,000. We are averaging fewer than 30,000 new cases a day. And that is the lowest the rate has been since last June. So while the numbers are indeed going down in terms of new cases and going up in terms of vaccinations, we could see, a slight return back to normal. So honestly, all around, other than the, honesty thing, pretty good news. I mean, we're talking, we can skip out on testing, which is not entirely yet, but we can kind of brush it under the rug almost, and start worrying about vaccines and masks. And soon, by the looks of it, masks are going to be more of an option rather than a mandatory thing, at least for outdoors. I know recently Governor Murphy has said he's waiving the mask mandate for outdoor people. The mask mandate for people while outdoors is what I meant to say. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Montclair did something very similar, correct? They said fully vaccinated students don't have to wear a mask while outside of buildings on campus.
Yeah, that's true, Kyle. That when you're walking on campus, you don't really need to wear a mask as long as you're vaccinated. Yeah, you could be walking around campus without your mask, which is, it's a step forward. That's good.
Yeah, because I was here last week doing the show again, and this was before they put out that mandate, and not being on campus for the better half a year, I really didn't know what the outdoor mask mandate rules were. I know the radio ones. We've got gloves, earphone covers, mask, all that kind of stuff. But I was walking around campus because I got here at like 5 a.m. or whatever it was for the 8 o'clock show. So I had a little bit of time to walk around, and I saw like an even split of like people outside with masks, people with it. So I'm like, I don't know what I am and am not allowed to do here.
Yeah, no, there's definitely going to be people that are going to want to wear their masks around.
Right. Yeah.
But I think right now, if you were wearing your mask outside, not wearing a mask outside right now, walking around, I'm pretty sure that's allowed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And I think it begs the question, if Montclair didn't do that, like, would that still be allowed considering Murphy waived the outdoor mask mandate? So like, would the school have to listen to him, or would they be allowed to put in their own rules saying, yeah, we know Murphy said no more mask outside, but we're still going to do that since we're on a more enclosed kind of outdoor space? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel that maybe it might be the school's choice. I'm sure New Jersey would strongly recommend having to be maskless,
Right.
get used to that again. But I don't think that if like New Jersey were to like mandate it or whatever, I don't think like Montclair would. I think it would be like Montclair's choice.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Because it was Montclair's choice to mandate the vaccine, correct? Like
Right.
New Jersey never said anything about that, right?
Yeah, there are still some schools that like declare that they're going to be optional for
Oh, really?
vaccines. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I'm not sure which schools they were, but there were schools that are like that aren't like requiring it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if like this is not the right word, but like approval ratings for those schools are gonna fluctuate in any way. Because I know the idea to mandate the vaccine with Rutgers and Montclair wasn't 100% popular with students. So I wonder if the optional schools are gonna like be in better favor with some students.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely going to be those people that are going to want to like, attend those schools that are optional. They're going to look at that,
Right.
which
Like
is good.
high school
That's going to be
seniors and
interesting.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know.
Campbell, Crystal, do you have any thoughts on this kind of stuff? I mean, other than it, in my opinion, being, good news to hear that like vaccines are going up and people are, starting to get back to some semblance of what we knew back in 2019.
Yeah, Kyle. I mean, definitely it's good news. The numbers are lowering where they have to. And I understand, easing up on on getting tested. I just well, at least someone who has only gotten tested like once or twice, because I don't really go outside like that or am around people. But I will say, just kind of going back to your point of like the honor system and, just whether or not someone gets vaccinated, I think I'm a hard believer that the CDC or New Jersey or just everyone in general who had a role in this decision jumped the gun because how like I understand we are all trying to get back to normal life, go outside, not have to wear the mask. Believe me, I do not like wearing a mask. It makes it hard for me to breathe when I'm walking fast or anything like that. But I don't understand how business owners specifically can how are they supposed to validate or check or know that you are vaccinated? They should have put out guidelines for that. They should have been specific, like, hey, before they go inside, you must carry your CDC vaccinated card with you at all times. Fine.
Yeah, something like that.
Some will be reluctant to do that. Some will actually do it. But they didn't give anything. And I say this, I feel so passionately about this, I guess, because it does affect me on a personal level. I have a whole bunch of family members who own businesses and, they don't really have guidelines. They are just kind of, people are just going to walk in and you're going to hope. It's like what Nancy Pelosi said last week, like, we're just going to respect and on the honor system, like, that's what we're going to do. It's just, and I say this, another reason why is because I have a whole bunch of acquaintances who say, I'm not getting vaccinated for X, Y, and Z reasons because the government or whatever the case may be. And they just like, oh, I'm just going to say I am vaccinated, but they're not. So that's just my take on this. I think it was a bit, you should have let out guidelines. Like, yes, it's good news, but you should have let with guidelines as well.
Right.
Yeah. Because it is definitely going to be very difficult to tell who's vaccinated, who's not. And there's definitely going to be those people that are going to walk around without the masks, not vaccinated. And right now, there's not really much of a way to tell if they're vaccinated or not, without like bringing your card around.
Right.
So that's going to be quite interesting to go through.
Right. Which I wouldn't be mad. I mean, carrying my card, like, don't get me wrong. I guess it's tedious in case you forget it. I get that, but maybe you can just snap a picture of it, carry your ID. I get it. Even I don't really think there's like a smart way to go about this. And I say that because what are you gonna like carry your card and ID and like flash it every single time you come in? Like, is our businesses or just hotels, just anybody, are they gonna have to have someone at the door just checking, like, let me see your ID, like we're at the bar, like, let me see your ID, make sure you're 21, kind of like the same thing, but yeah. And I get it, I guess it would be a longer process, but I don't know, I just think it's not very clear how we are all supposed to move forward, but
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that relates to our next topic, the next story that we're going on to. It's actually Seattle bar now requiring proof of COVID-19 vaccination for entry. Funny you mentioned. Let's get it started. A Seattle Capitol Hills bar requiring proof of COVID-19 vaccination before entry. The bar's Facebook page uploaded a post on May 21st with the announcement. The bar thinks that it's the best way to keep the staff safe and any customer safe and protected, thinking it's the right thing to do. The post said, quote, "This protects our staff and all others that choose to enter. It also adds incentive for those to get vaccinated. When customers approach the bar, they must show their vaccination card along with their ID to match the information in order to enter. Without the proof of the vaccination, you will not be allowed to enter." So this is a huge jump. This is something that's very different for us now that they're going to be able to go into these bars. Now that they know they're going to be vaccinated, there's going to be it's going to be a safe environment with everybody that's vaccinated. That's going to be interesting. I think a lot of businesses are going to be doing that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and this is just a single bar in Seattle, right? It's not like a chain or anything right now.
No, this is just one single bar. But yeah, I think this is gonna, be something. I think that people are gonna be doing this, businesses and stuff.
Yeah, it's
Restaurants.
very interesting to see what's gonna happen with this kind of stuff, because it's like I mentioned before in the other story, it's not the most widely accepted practice. I get with bars, you have to card some people because, there are a lot of people with fake IDs. And it looks like now there's going to be a lot of people with fake vaccination cards as well, which is probably going to make the job for the people out front a little bit harder.
Yeah, I know. I mean, all these places now too, they're they're doing requirements for, well, not requirements. I meant if you were to go to Krispy Kreme right now and show them your vaccination card, there's people that could easily, maybe just edit that around,
Right.
and show them a fake vaccination card just for a free donut, which is so extra and out of the way.
I mean, it is quite the incentive.
But still, just going off of that, there's definitely going to be people that are going to maybe they really love this bar, but they don't want to get vaccinated.
Right.
They're going to want to do something to make it look like they're vaccinated. But yeah, I just think a lot of places are gonna. I mean, maybe not a lot. I know there's going to be a lot of other places that will do the same thing.
Right. And now I have this question for all of you, because I just thought of it now. Do you think places doing stuff like this, requiring proof of vaccination, would result in more people lying or more people getting vaccinated?
I think there's a fine line between that, because to go back to the previous story, personal experience, I actually got to go to a Phillies game last week, and they lifted the mask mandate.
Oh, really?
So it was kind of weird because I had my mask with me, and we only had to go to indoor places like the bathrooms and whatnot with the mask on, and I felt like a little freedom, I guess you could say, walking outdoors at a baseball game in a different state. And then the whole honor code thing that Crystal mentioned, yeah, people still may not trust the vaccine or whatnot, but there's another thing where they're going to have to get it, because if you don't get it, people are not going to be allowed to go into places if they force rules on it. So, and to go with this, I think there's a middle between, yes, people could get the vaccine, and then people might just lie. And
yeah, exactly.
So I think there's a 50-50 chance on how that is, but that's my take on that.
Right.
Yeah, I think all bars should do it. I as I was saying on the first story, I think all bars should do it, and not because of anything, but because it's the safety of the employees who work there. They don't have an option. How are they going to control who comes in, who comes out? I know a lot of people are not going to be happy if businesses, if anything, bars, hotels, casinos, whoever starts doing this. I know people are not going to be happy, because then they're going to be obligated to get the vaccine in order to participate in these events. And I tell you, like, I honestly, I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was like, I wonder who is, not that I wonder, but like, because you can search it up, but I really don't think that Governor Murphy has someone in his team that is someone young, and or someone like relatively young, like under 20s. And I say this because young people think very differently than 30, 40, 50 years old.
Oh, yes,
And
100%, definitely.
yeah, and I'm telling you because I have friends across like everywhere. I have friends who are very, scholastic students, like they're committed to school. They got their vaccine in order to participate in their school events, be able to live on campus. And then I have other students who, they work and like they're 9 to 5 or 11 to 7, and they just kind of, enjoy life, I guess, a little more or have more freedom. They go out to bars every other night, they party, this, that, and the fourth. And those group of people, they are not getting the vaccine, everyone. Like okay, not everyone, but a lot of us, like 20-year-olds, 17, 18, 19,
Right.
are not getting the vaccine.
Really?
And that's up to you. You do whatever you think is right for you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you need to get the vaccine. You do whatever you think is right for you. But again, it just kind of brings me back to like how they rolled this out. I felt like as where we are right now, we were at that point where people were wearing their masks. Like they were wearing them. Some, yeah, they were like reluctant. They didn't want to do it. And yes, some had, it's annoying, but they had accepted it. And now they're like, you know what? You don't got to do it anymore. Leave that mask at home. And now I feel like we're all like, okay, like, yes, don't get me wrong. I want to go back to normal too, but you should just had a plan.
Right. That's the other thing that the previous article mentioned, the AP News one about the COVID testing stuff. They said, I forget who said it, but someone said like, okay, with all these mandates, with all these new mandates out or new protocols, people are treating it like, oh, that's it. COVID's done, gone forever, which obviously isn't the case, but because because federal officials are being so much more, air quotes, relaxed on all this stuff, saying, hey, if you're vaccinated, you don't need this. We can ease up on testing, this, that, and the other thing. Everyone's like, oh, cool. Pandemic's over. It's been a year. We all knew this was be gone by 2021. And, false sense of hope and security there. But if slowly we're getting back to that kind of sense, like hopefully, I mean, my hope by end of year is we're back to something relatively closer to 2019. But right now, apparently a lot of people are thinking we're there now, which I hate to admit it that we're not out of this yet. I would love for this to be over, but we're not there just yet.
Yeah, I agreeing with Crystal. I think that like the mask, like the whole thing about not having to wear a mask was very quick. And so like it was like I feel like it was just when people were just like getting like actually like like getting used to the mask and all that, and it's just like now all of a sudden it's just like, oh, you got used to the mask, now you don't have to wear it. It's just, I don't know. To me, my opinion, I feel it's a little quick. They could have waited. I know we want to get back to normal, but it's just, if we want to get back to fully normal, we need to like take these steps slowly.
Yeah. And I have a theory, and I really want to share this because I want all of your opinion. So you see how, I think it was like last week or the week before, how my days are all messed up because of finals, but you see how the CDC announced like, hey, if you're vaccinated, you can stop using your mask, right? At certain places, right? And then whatever, people were all like caught off guard because they didn't know it was happening. My apologies. Only very specific people knew it was happening, but not everyone, right? Not even, I think, governors. Fine, whatever. And then Governor Murphy was like, oh, no, like, we're not there yet. Fine. He says maybe down the line. And then a couple of days later, he's like, on May 28th, and correct me if I'm wrong on that date, but I'm pretty sure it's May 28th, you guys can stop using your masks indoors if you're vaccinated. So I was walking around my neighborhood and I saw a whole bunch of signs that said, since the primaries are coming up for, Governor Murphy and, well, at least from my area, the senator as well, And my theory is that he is making it allowed for people to drop the mask indoors, not because he thinks it's right, but because, or we're there yet, but because the numbers were probably not in his favor, because there's a lot of people who want to go back to normal. They don't like to wear the mask. So that is my theory. I think he just did it to make a lot of people happy, so his numbers are right.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he was like the very first one. He was before like New York and California when he said, nope, we're not listening to the CDC. So I could imagine that among some people that might bring his numbers down a little bit. So who knows? I mean, it was a very weird call to just immediately say, no, the CDC is wrong for New Jersey specifically. And now it looks like you said, he's doing this to make him look better, despite him technically being the villain, not really the villain, but in terms of his approval, like you said, he's now, it looks like he's trying to correct a mistake he made.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I thought the same thing. I was like, at first, like 1 week after another, he was just like, no, we're still gonna keep the masks. You know, we kind of like knew that he was just gonna keep the mask thing going on, and like, oh, we're not ready for like this, and that yet. And then all of a sudden, 1 week, he's just like, bam, you don't have to wear your mask outdoors. And then I don't know, I don't remember what he said about indoor masks. That if they're going to be lifted after like a certain amount of people are vaccinated or something. But
It said close to this weekend, like before
This-
Memorial Day weekend, they're going to try to.
I saw a
right.
thing from NJ.com that says indoor mask mandate will be lifted May 28th, which is this Friday, which is
Right.
like within a week, within a span of a week and a half, he just literally lifted the indoor mask mandate.
I'm telling you, it was the numbers. I'm telling you, it was the numbers. Because please tell me what changed in the past like 4 or 5 days.
See, that's the thing. The week before he said, we're not listening to the CDC, he said like, oh, New Jersey's at its lowest transmission rate it's ever been. So how could we be at the lowest transmission rate in a year, but still also not be there? Now, I get like if it was the lowest transmission rate and that lowest transmission rate was like 0.9, then yeah, we wouldn't be there yet. But the lowest transmission rate we had that week prior was like 0.27. So it seemed like we really actually were there, but he wasn't so ready. Like I said, he looks like he's trying to make himself be the hero. Because if the CDC mandated the no mask and he didn't make the call, it would have just been, okay, I'm following them. But if he makes the call himself, now people love me.
Right.
Me being Murphy, not me, myself.
Yeah. No, I mean, what Crystal said, her theory, I agree with you. I mean, honestly, that's the only thing that makes sense. Besides, you know, like there's no way that like he's saying like all this and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, now we can listen to the CDC saying not listening to them to listening to them. It's like,
right, exactly.
Oh, okay, like I guess that was a switch. But yeah, I feel like that's the only thing that makes the most sense.
Yeah. But that is only our opinions. They do in no way reflect the radio station. Those are personally to us. But we are going to be taking a quick break right now. And when we come back, we've got some more stories. Stay tuned to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair for the Monday edition of the Summer Morning Buzz. I am your host, Kyle Pepitone, joined today with my co-host, Patrina Geiger. Patrina, how are you?
You know, it's been great. We're doing great. It's so good to be in the studio. It's so great to be back on the Buzz for the summer. You know, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I've with the very little experience I've had on the board, like I've mentioned, but it is great to be back to experience this because it's different. It's very different. Being behind the board, all these buttons at your disposal, as opposed to the just little click record on Zoom that I've been used to, at least for my show. And then, just kind of taking a back seat to the morning buzz during the spring. So I'm really loving this right now.
Yeah, it's a great environment to be in.
Yeah, definitely. But you have a story for us, correct?
I do. So unfortunately, 2 dead, 12 injured after a mass shooting at a house party near Bridgeton, New Jersey. On Saturday at 11:15 p.m., 12 people injured and 2 killed during a shooting in a big party at Bridgeton, New Jersey. Officers were called to a home located on E-Commerce Street in Fairfield Township, Cumberland County. The victims who died are currently anonymous, and one victim being a 30-year-old man and the other being a 25-year-old woman. According to investigators, no arrests have been made so far, and all the victims are under critical condition. Trouble erupted at the party when people from a nearby party showed up at the house, leaving over 100 people at the house party. Police are currently investigating and searching in the area, also including woods and cemeteries. Now, my heart is broken. I was reading more about this article, and I was reading the interviews. This is from abc.com. I was reading more about the people that you know are related to the victims who died, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. I can't imagine what kind of position they're in right now, like how they're feeling emotionally. My respects go out to them. My condolences. It's heartbreaking. I I don't know what is wrong with this world.
Yeah,
It's
it is sad to hear. I was reading it over this morning, and it's with a lot of stories like this, I'm speechless on what to say, because how do you respond to something like this? As like, I can't even imagine. I can't say anything as a passive, almost bystander, just reading this. I can't imagine at all what people who were experiencing that must be feeling, what must be thinking. I mean, even the ones who fortunately weren't injured still have to have some kind of reaction to it. And that might not be the best way to put it, but I'm just jumbling over words right now, trying to form something that like makes some kind of sense.
Yeah, because it's like I don't when I try to like it's so weird, like it's so hard to like even talk about sometimes, but like it's to think about what goes through those kinds of people's heads, like why do they do this? Like what is their reasoning? Like how like what is it's just
Right. And there was a quote from somebody from the party that said, um, her name was Keen. She said, "If you're going to a party, why do you need a gun? If you're there to have a good time, why do you need a gun with you? This means you're expecting trouble to me." End quote. And that's a really good point. Why are you going anywhere? Well, not going anywhere. I mean, there are some situations where maybe you feel unsafe for something like that. But if you're going to a party, then no, definitely not. Like I know there are some unfortunate instances that happens, exhibit A, but it like sometimes you feel unsafe, and it's justified to have something for self-defense. But for a part, like, I know letting your guard down is not a great thing, but it's a party, and you should be there to have fun. And I mean, obviously if this person didn't bring the gun, we wouldn't be reading this right now. So it's very interesting when you think about it in that sense, like a safety, feeling unsafe kind of sense. Because if that person felt unsafe and brought the gun, we're in the situation now. But if somebody had felt unsafe about that and brought something to protect themselves, maybe there might have been a different outcome. If everybody felt safe, at least according to Keen's quote, if everybody felt safe, we wouldn't be in this situation. It's very interesting to think about stuff like that, like how just the slightest bit of choices can make a world of difference.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I was reading one of the uncles of the victim
Right.
who died. He said his niece was a quote good girl, and was absolutely heartbroken. End of quote. I just can't imagine. You just want your niece to have a good life, enjoy her time, and then this stuff happens. Like it's like like we live in a world, you have to be so aware of your surroundings, and you gotta like look out for people, and it's sad, but it's what you gotta do.
Right.
Campbell, Crystal, you guys, I got anything, any input?
Well, first, I think this hits home because it's New Jersey, of course, and it's our
Right.
state. And like you said before, we never know what a situation could be in life, and you have to be aware of your surroundings. Or there's that quote where every day is a given, and you never know what could happen, and you can lose something or someone in an instant without knowing. So it's very tough to read this, and especially it's in New Jersey, of course. And I believe Governor Murphy did put out a statement and given his prayers and condolences to the families. And myself, I do pay my respects to the family of the victims who were ultimately perished in the shooting.
Yeah. You said Murphy did say a quote and offers prayer and condolences, and we have that right here from the ABC article. Murphy said, "Quote: Let there be no mistake. This despicable and cowardly act of gun violence only steals our commitment to ensuring New Jersey leads the nation in passing and enforcing strong and common sense gun safety laws. No community should ever experience what occurred last night in Fairfield." End quote.
Yeah, it's crazy because I live like so close to Fairfield too, and it's like it's so it's like Campbell said, like it hits close to home. You know, it's like you wouldn't think that stuff like that this would happen like so close to you or even like around you. But like these days, again, you got to be like aware of your surroundings and what goes on and all that.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder what was the reason. I'm reading the article. I'm really trying to find the reason.
Yeah, investigators haven't released. No, investigators said that the motive was still under investigation, so they don't even know yet. And same with the victim; they're still looking into it. They said the article said like the victim has not been released to the public yet. So it's, or at least to my understanding, it's unclear whether they know who did it and just haven't found them yet, or if they're still looking into it. Because like Patrina said, they're searching the surrounding area, the woods, the cemetery, stuff like that.
Yeah. See, I just feel like there is just I like to, go to kickbacks, go to parties. I enjoy going to, not every single weekend, but I do go like to go occasionally.
Right.
And see, that's one thing everyone should always, I guess you need to be aware of your surroundings, kind of what Patrina said. But I'll never understand, just kind of going what you guys said, that how some people just take it too far.
Right.
Like what are you doing? Like, I understand if you want to, because obviously it's one of our amendments, right? Like, you want to carry your gun, fine, whatever. But why, if you're going to a party, why would you need to take a gun? And if you do, I really can't imagine a good enough reason to just pull out your gun just to,
Exactly.
to shoot somebody, like, unless you already went with that intention to harm someone.
Right.
And if that was the case, I would, first of all, I would never encourage anybody to ever hurt physically or in any way someone else. But if you had a problem with someone, then deal that problem with that someone. There's a time and place for everything. I'm not saying there's time and place to shoot someone. No, I am absolutely not saying that. But
Right.
talk your problems out like adults and figure out what it is that you're having an issue with, and that's it. Call it a day. That's it. Like, there's no reason to bring 12 other people who were injured and the 2 other individuals who died.
Exactly.
To me, it's really crazy. But the craziest part is that you actually have to be aware for that. And I say that because a couple of things, like a year or 2 years ago, this was before COVID, I went to a house party, and this was when I was still a student at Rutgers, and I went to a frat party, and I was in there, and this has been a house I had never been there before. We went with a group of friends, and I guess they were shooting like a music video, and all of a sudden, it's just the vibe was not there. Like, you know when your gut is telling you like get out or like
Right.
leave. So my gut was telling me that, and our friend group just ended up leaving because it wasn't really our scene. And lo and behold, as we were getting to our building where our dorm, there's people running, and one of them was like, "Oh, someone shot someone. Someone like shot someone." And it was at the frat party that we were at. And I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, and mind you, I went to the campus in Newark, And obviously, it's no secret that in Newark there's a lot of violence and stuff like that. And so it was just crazy because like, I was there where someone got shot, and had I stayed longer, you don't know what would have happened. So
Right.
what I'm trying to say with that is that every single time you go outside or you go to an event or you do that, like, that is something that's in the back of your head, like, damn, like, I hope nothing happens, like, I
Yeah.
hope I'm not in danger.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, and you were saying before the whole, like, it's part of our rights to have it, but like, that's the issue. You have to be responsible with stuff like this. And our general manager brought up this question: our general manager, Annabella Poland, said, shouldn't there be a yearly check on mental health to determine whether or not you should have a gun? And I fully agree with that. Like, there are a lot of, especially in today's day and age, where we're seeing an increase in mental illnesses such as like depression and anxiety and a whole bunch of other things. You definitely need something like that, like, not just one thing to make sure if you can have it in the first place, you're all good to go. I've always stood by something like that should be reevaluated constantly. And same thing, in my opinion, goes for driving. Like, not so much the mental health aspect of it, but more like the physical health aspect. Like, you should, as a driver, you should constantly be checked for being able to see correctly, hear correctly, your reaction time. Because if you're not ever tested about that again since the age of whatever it is, 16, 18, depending on where you live, something's definitely changing in the span of, say, 50 years. So, and with mental health, it takes a lot quicker than that for something to go upside down. So I personally definitely believe there, for stuff like guns and just weapons in general, there should be some form of cycle of checks to go through.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. I think that maybe, like, because when you get like a gun, you get like a license, don't you?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so that should, like you said, it should be the same thing for like like, you should be maybe tested every so often, every 5 years or something,
Yeah.
because like something like that is so important to, like, people change like so much, and you don't know what their next thought's gonna be, like, you gotta keep like, a system going, because if you don't, like, stuff like this happens, and I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, especially in this past year, everything's been coming at us from all different directions. Who knows how many people have been affected in, less favorable ways.
Right. And the thing is, I know it's hard to probably keep track of that, just because that's like a whole nother thing you gotta like get invested in.
Right.
And then again, it's like, some people just like, they don't have a license for a gun. They'll like take a gun from somewhere. Like, I don't know like how they'll obtain it, but people just find a way to get a gun and they don't have a license for it. So that's something else that's very hard to keep track of as well.
Right.
So I wish I knew a solution. I really did. I would make a change somehow.
I think everybody's
Yeah.
searching for one. We're trying, but I don't think anybody's come to a concrete answer yet. But I think something like this, like a yearly, half yearly, semi-yearly, or I'm sorry, the correct word is annually, an annually or semi-annually kind of check would, really help this kind of a situation like this, assuming this person did rightfully own the gun and did not get it illegally or from somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But in more brighter news, Google has begun helping Girl Scout cookies. Has begun helping Girl Scouts deliver their cookies via drones. In April, this is from the Good News Network. In April, the Girl Scouts were experiencing a drop in cookie sales, largely due to the pandemic, which prevented them from selling cookies in person. However, in Christiansburg, Virginia, Google's residential delivery service called Wing has been delivering cookies via drone. The local Girl Scouts are also being taught about how the drone technology works and how to operate it in an effort to inspire them to pursue more STEM-based careers. A recent survey from Virginia showed that 87% of people were content with the drone delivery. And with the drone delivery, people can receive a variety of goods shipped to them other than just cookies, without adding congestions to the road, and at a fraction of the energy used, being 10 times more efficient than electric vehicles and 50 times more efficient than gas-powered vehicles. So, how would you guys feel if, a box of Thin Mints just fell from the sky?
That would be fun. I mean, if I were to choose what falls from the sky, I would definitely want it to be the s'mores cookie, because I
Ooh.
think that's the best cookie out of all the Girl Scout cookies.
Agreeable.
Just opinion. But that's pretty cool. But as a past Girl Scout, I feel that it's like, I don't know, like being able to go out and sell the cookies like yourself, going out in front of a store. Like, I just feel like that's like a huge part of the experience, and it's just so much fun. It's something I like always remember. Like, I remember like dressing up as like the little Samoa cookie. Like, it's fun. But
Right.
I mean, then again, like that's since like the sales have fallen short.
Right.
I feel like that's a great way for them to help them, because like if they need that, then that's good for them.
Yeah, I mean, like a big thing that they said, and we have a video here that hopefully I can share if I had given myself permission. But what they said in the video is that like the biggest problem was nobody was letting them set up booths, because that would cause some traffic issues, along with the coupled with the pandemic. You really don't want more traffic than necessary, so they weren't able to do a lot of these in-person sales for pretty much since the start. And this is where Google swooped in and he's like, hey, what if we just drop them off from the air? And so residents of, and this is only happening in this one little area in Virginia, where residents can order cookies off of their phone till the end of May, because it appears like Google's really just trying this out right now, just to see how it works, because it's been going for about a year, and the survey said 87% of people were happy with it within the first year of service. And also another little fun fact. Let's play a little game. Do you guys want to guess what the best selling cookies are from the drones?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's Thin Mints, because I think it's a huge cookie.
Right. Crystal Campbell.
Unpopular opinion. I actually don't like Girl Scout cookies, and I've never really been a fan, so I wouldn't even be able to tell you.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Sorry, Patrina. I still support you.
It's fine.
Campbell, what do you think the most?
I'm gonna go with a hot take. I'm gonna say Samoas.
Really interesting. Well, Patrina was right. The most popular cookie is, not surprisingly, to quote the article, Thin Mints.
Yeah.
Personally, not my favorite type of cookie. I'm not really a fan of mint in general. I'm sorry for that. I'd love for you to angry tweet me, but I don't use Twitter often, so I can't do that. Also, I'm stealing that from our previous Morning Buzz producer, Ryan Trick, so I'm gonna zip it there. But I don't know. I'm more particular to, I don't know, I'd say the s'mores. Like Patrina said, I like the s'mores better. Just Thin Mints aren't my, mint in general is just not my thing. And I apologize to anybody I might have hurt from that statement.
No, like I agree with you, Kyle. I mean, I'll eat a Thin Mint. Like, I don't think they're horrible, but like you, I don't like mint in my food. I think
Right.
it only belongs in toothpaste. But
I was just gonna say that.
Or gum. Gum is exceptional, but I used to love, they used to have this cookie that was Thank You Berry Munch, and it was just like berries in it, but they got rid of it, and so that
Why?
used to
It's
be
such
my
a
favorite.
clever name.
I know, they could have went so far with that, but they didn't, and now it's like rah raisins or something. But off topic. But I'm happy for the Girl Scouts that they have like a solution to that.
Right, yeah.
Because they need, it's so sad for the Girl Scouts that have to go through this pandemic, and there's a lot of hands-on when you're a Girl Scout, And so it's like it's very sad that they don't get to experience like all the things that I got to experience. And like and even
Right.
so like they have to they have to raise this money to like be able to do these experiences. And like it's hard right now. So my heart goes out to the Girl Scouts.
Yeah, because I think like a lot of people don't like, and this really goes for anything, like the general public doesn't really know what's going on mostly behind the scenes of most things. So like they don't know everything going, like what the Girl Scouts have to do. It's not all just selling cookies. There's like a reason behind it, like you said, raising money and stuff.
Yeah. There's like so much behind it. So I
Right.
don't know.
Okay,
And
I have a question,
yes, go ahead.
and maybe Patrina can answer this. Okay, so they sell cookies, and it's to raise money. And what do they use the money? Like, what are they raising for?
Oh, it's kind of like a hands-on experience, It's a lot of like voluntary kind of work and like helping out. Like I did a lot of volunteer work, but it's just a way to like connect with people your age and kind of just raise awareness to help like, other, start like kids, I guess, volunteering young and all that. But and like I guess it's like a learning experience because we also went camping and you learn like all that kind of stuff as well. So you
And
just gain a lot from it.
got it. And the money from the cookies, do they like donate it, or they use it for their expenses type of thing?
That I'm not 100% sure, just because it was like the troop leaders that handled the money. I think it just goes towards the Girl Scouts in general, like the company. But we did raise like our own money in certain ways, but like we did a lot of like volunteer work mostly. It was basically like going to pet shelters and like donating to them and stuff and other stuff like that.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually cool. I didn't know any of that.
I'm glad we had a former Girl Scout.
Yeah.
That worked out in our favor. But I for one hope that this drone delivery gets implemented to the rest of the country and rest of the world, because I for one would be very excited if a box of s'mores cookies fell from the sky right onto my doorstep. And hopefully they didn't miss, and I hope it doesn't like land on my roof or something, because there's no way I'm getting that.
Yeah, I mean, along with s'mores, I want to say I do really enjoy, what are they? Trefoils. Trefoils
Ooh.
are delicious as well. The plain vanilla, I'm a big fan.
Nice. I like your taste in cookies.
Thank you. No mint.
But we have a bit of sadder news coming up right now. According to NPR, Internet Explorer is reaching its end.
Wow.
After 25 years, Microsoft has announced its death of Internet Explorer, which for the longest time, as we have seen, has been revered as the slowest, buggiest internet browser there is, only used mostly to download Chrome. At least, that's how I've used it. That's the only time I've ever used Internet Explorer. It's just, hey, I got a new computer. It comes with Internet Explorer. I need Chrome now. So that's my extent of experience with Internet Explorer, which has recently been replaced almost by Microsoft Edge. And, that's something interesting. How do you guys feel about this? Have you what is your default browser to begin with? Mine is Chrome for the most part.
Oh,
Yeah.
now I go on Firefox most of the time, but I mean, for nostalgia purposes, I know we've all gone on to our parents' desktop, big computer. We listen to the old Windows.
Brush the dust off.
Yeah, and you just click on Internet Explorer, and it takes forever to load. And yeah, but I think for nostalgia purposes, I think
Right.
now it's reached its official demise. So, but I think it's useful to have more future browsers to for
Right.
personal and
Yeah,
professional.
and recently Microsoft has been putting out or pushing Microsoft Edge, which is the Internet Explorer successor. The company even said, quote, The future of Internet Explorer on Windows 10 is in Microsoft Edge, end quote. And, I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, I don't think anybody's used Internet Explorer in how long. So, like, I feel like when Microsoft Edge was first introduced, everybody's like, yeah, this was already a better alternative, despite whatever I'm currently using and despite Internet Explorer. I'll stick with Edge if I must. But yeah, honestly, in my opinion, I don't know why I still use Chrome because it is notorious for eating RAM. So for some reason, I'm just way too stuck on it to go to literally anything else. Probably because I have too many bookmarks. I think that's my problem. I would have to transfer all of them over. And, I just don't have that time.
Right. No, yeah. Don't worry, Kyle. I also use Chrome. I really like Chrome. I think it's very organized, but Internet Explorer, like Campbell said, I always used it, like, logging on my parents' computer, going on clubpenguin.com,
Oh no, that's gone too.
Yeah, if I go on about it, I will cry. But
Yeah.
I know it's crazy because I'm surprised it even lasted that long.
I am too.
Because of like all of the other browsers that have come out that are like much more efficient and faster. And like, I don't know, I feel like I don't know one person that's still used Internet Explorer, but I mean.
Exactly. Yeah. And, like, when I first saw this in our Discord, our radio Discord chat, and it said, Microsoft is planning to pull the plug on Internet Explorer in June of 2022. And my first response was, knowing how slow Internet Explorer is, it probably won't go away till 2024.
Yeah, it just takes 2 years to even delete.
I mean, I don't even know, I don't know exactly how internet browsers work and stuff. I don't know if there's like a backroom server that Microsoft has that they have to like shut down or something, but I can just imagine it being like whatever it's like stored on or anything, just from like 1980s, just covered in dust, rust, like screws falling out and everything. I don't know too much about machinery, but this is how I imagine things going down. They just like, I want to believe they're going to like literally axe whatever server it's on.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's all I have to say about Internet Explorer. I'm not the most experienced. I had no hand in developing it or anything. But overall, that is going to do it for the Monday Morning Buzz. We have just started the summer edition, so we will be back Monday through Thursday with a best of the week every Friday. So feel free to stay tuned to the rest and tune in tomorrow for new stories and new people. I have been your host, Kyle Pepitone, joined in studio with Patrina Geiger, Crystal Santos, and Campbell Donovan. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. We will see you next week.